Oh, Justin. Okay, so I bought down a few of my Transformer UK comics. This is issue 75. So this one, we won't really go into these right now because that's not the Target 2006 story arc. This was the arc just before it. Okay, so this is where the Target 2006 story arc starts with issue 78, as you can see here. Issue 78. Oh, why is that unfocusing? There we go. Issue 78. Oh, okay. I have to have the macro. That's why it's okay. Still, issue 78 is where it started. And again, it actually starts with Optimus Prime. Oh, something I should mention. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much you know about the Transformers, but they basically have two insignias, so it's pretty easy to tell the good guys from the bad guys, even if you don't know anything about the Transformers. This insignia here. Hold on. Let me try to put the macro on. I want to see if I can get this to focus. Maybe not. Okay. Well, maybe that doesn't work. I haven't used this camera in quite some time, and I don't really video with it. But either way, this insignia here that you see on their chest, okay, that's the Autobot symbol. And the Decepticon symbol, let me see if I can find one of the bad guys in here. I'll show you what their symbol looks like. If you don't know that, I mean, you know, that's the easiest way to tell the good guys from the bad guys, because they all are wearing the symbol. It's funny, they're robots in disguise, and even in their vehicle modes, they're wearing that symbol, so you can tell them apart. Okay, maybe not here. Hold on. Oh, okay. This is the Decepticon symbol. That symbol on his chest. Okay, but anyway, so it starts off with the Dinobots. They're good guys that turn into dinosaurs, but they're kind of an offshoot of the Autobots. They kind of do their own thing. And Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots, they never really get along quite well. So it starts off with Optimus Prime actually, let me open this up. Let me see if I can see better here. It starts off, as you can see, Optimus Prime is kind of berating. He's mad and he's like complaining about what the Dinobots did in the last few issues. Prowl kind of calms him down because he's actually destroying the forest. He doesn't realize that when he's so angry. Now, Optimus usually isn't like a violent person or anything like that. He's just really in a bad mood. But anyway, he gets the troops he's getting the troops together to talk. They actually recap that story arc, and he's going to get the rest of his Autobots together and talk to them. In the meantime, like I told you, on Cybertron, the Decepticons have pretty much won the war, but there's an Autobot resistance, and that's Emmerich Zyron, who's a character just made up for the comics. That's something else too. There were characters that are just made up for the comics, like both of these guys. Impactor, no, that's not Impactor there, but still, there's characters that are just made up for the comics. Those guys can die at any time because Emmerich Zyron doesn't, but you know, of course, they're not toys, so there's no real vested interest in keeping them around. But still, this is Impactor. And what's going on is Emmerich Zyron is like the leader of the Autobot resistance, and they're just about to start this major offensive. That's what's going on at the same time in 1986 when the Earthbound Autobots are on Earth. The Earthbound Transformers, I should say, because Autobots and the Decepticons are there. But it's a long story, which I can go into, but you'll probably see it better on the synopsis of the page I gave you. But this Autobot here is a traitor, but they know he's a traitor, and so he's more of a coward than a traitor. Like, he didn't go to betray the Autobots, but they knew he'd be captured and then give out information. And Roadbuster here is actually thinking about how this is all part of a plan. Shrapnel's actually killing him because he said that he would save his life if he gave him information, and he did, but Shrapnel killed him anyway. And Shrapnel has the power of, like, generating electricity, so that's what he's doing there. Kind of like shocking him the way the Emperor did Luke. But there's no Darth Vader to throw him down a reactor shaft. But anyway, there's a bit of recap as Optimus is talking to his troops, and then, like I said, Optimus, which is the big red truck, that's the main hero of the Autobots, I'm sure you know who he is. Prowl and Ratchet actually disappear. And then the rest of the Autobots have no idea why. Like I told you, that's Jazz and that's Bumblebee. They're both looking horrified as they're watching their leader and two of their best friends disappear. But also, like I told you, on Cybertron, the Matrix they have a way of telling, of seeing it, and not seeing it, but telling that it's still in existence. And when that flame dies, and they know that it's no longer in existence, or it's no longer in the galaxy, so they think Optimus is dead. They don't know what happened. Because there's no communication really between the Earthbound and Autobots and the Cybertronian Autobots. That's their home planet. But as I told you before, they're beamed away to another dimension because 3 Decepticons come from the future, and they actually say, they meet a few humans and they're like, we'll spare your lives if you tell us what year it is, and they do spare their lives because humans are beneath them basically. But you'll find this is a kids comic, so some of the robots might die, but you don't really see them destroying humans. Like you might see them smashing a house or smashing a city even, but you don't actually usually see people die. But anyway, so they just say it's 1986, and they're like, good. So this is the big splash scene where you see Galvatron, and that's Scourge, and that's Cyclonus. Those are pretty bad drawings of them, though. Honestly, that's not what they kind of look like. I mean, that's kind of what they look like, but not, that there's better artwork for them. But like I told you, this is their first introduction because the movie wasn't out yet when this comic book came out. So you don't know anything about Galvatron at this point. If you're a reader of the comics, you don't know he used to be a Megatron. You don't know those 2 Decepticons. You used to be former Decepticons before they were like reformed. You don't know any of that at the time. So that's that page. Here is the Grim. You could write the Grimlock around this time, and here is the letter page where people are writing to. That's right. Grimlock just took over the letter page. So Soundwave is the bad guy. He's the bad audio cassette, and he was the one that people were writing to. So they're still writing to Soundwave, although Grimlock's answering, and he's telling them, okay, you can write to me from now on. And eventually, like in a couple issues, people are writing to Grimlock, and he's answering as Grimlock. And the backup story at this time is a Hercules story, which I don't read. I'm not a big Hercules fan, but so the main story is like maybe 12, 14 pages. The backup's like 8, I think, somewhere around there. Then there's also like a comic strip that's at the time it was Robo Capers. There was another one called Combat Colin. There were a few comic strips, but they're basically like reading the Sunday Funnies. It's not a continual story. Robo Capers kind of is because it involves the robots. There's these alien frog people that always want to invade the Earth. The king is always getting his scientists to try to build a robot to invade the Earth, and they never work. So whatever happens, it's just kind of a little funny thing. Then there's the coming attraction for next week. So that's what the UK comics looked like, at least around this time. Let's see here. So this is the second of the what do they call it? I'm sorry, I can't think. The Target 2006 storyline. So showing the new leaders. So Galvatron, which we met already, and there's Ultra Magnus. Now again, Cyclonus and Scourge, just what I was talking about, how you don't see humans die. They're flying around and they're just talking about how weak 1986 Earth is, and they blow up a train, but it could be a freight train. You don't actually see people die. Then they blow up a gas station, but you actually see the humans who are pumping gas escape before it's destroyed. And Galvatron tells them, okay, that's enough, we're not here for this, let's go to Megatron. In the meantime, the Autobots, they think that the 1986 Decepticons are behind the disappearance of their leader and their 2 friends, which is plausible, because who else would do it? So they're spying on the Decepticon base. While they're doing that, Galvatron, they recap a little bit, but while they're spying on the Decepticon base, Galvatron appears. And again, I remember how I told you he actually appears and just says to Megatron, "Hey, I'm from the future. I'm not here to do anything to you, but I want to borrow the Constructicons." And of course, Galvatron. I mean, Megatron doesn't take kindly to that, and he shoots Galvatron. So Galvatron gets up, and that was actually they actually imagined that's the way Megatron would react. And you remember how I told you that they can't actually kill Megatron. He actually can't kill anybody because he doesn't want to change to the future. So even the Autobots, you'll find later, he beats them up, but he doesn't kill them. But of course, Scourge and Cyclonus are kind of hotheads, so they're going to kill Megatron. And then he's telling them, "No, what are you doing? What's the matter with you?" And so what they do instead is they beat them up a little bit, and then Galvatron transforms into a laser cannon and blasts a mountain on top of them to bury them in rubble. But they're still alive. And a little telltale hint. I think this is the first hint that you find out that something's going on between him and Megatron, because Laserbeak, which is kind of he's a Decepticon and he's also sentient, but he's also kind of in a way like a pirate's parrot, like when he lands on the shoulder of the leader and he sits there. Well, he senses that that's Megatron, so he goes to Galvatron and